Hello and welcome to another video. So I'm back at the property. I the problem with the truck was not the alternator, not the box install. It was the glow plugs that needed replacing. They were pulling too much resistance. That was 800 bucks. So now the box has got a full charge. But just sitting there, it went down by 1 bar of power. Just sitting there. Just on. Not even, the plugs weren't even on. So I don't know if the box being on turns the inverter on or not. But, so I don't know. Maybe I didn't charge it long enough at the full charge for it to actually be full charged. I don't know. So I bought a tent. The plan is to set the tent on top of the shipping container, and that should give me the rodent-free lifestyle that I think I deserve in life. Speaking of rodents, I set out a bunch of traps over a week ago in this little island out here that I have in my drive area. Not one catch. Okay, so I set up traps right before I left. So those traps have been there longer than the ones before I left. I set up the ones before I left. I put 2 inside the shipping container just to make sure, because I pulled the bedding out of the car and I put it in the shipping container. And if a mouse was in there, I didn't want it, and also I had the shipping container door open on into the night, the night, and I wasn't paying attention to the door the whole time, and a mouse could have slipped in. So I put a couple inside the shipping container, and luckily they were untouched. The bait was untouched, so they're all good. But outside, I got 4, which I think is the high score ever. So yeah, I was just about ready. I bought a grip of mouse traps literally the day of the fire. They were in the truck when I came back out here the first time. And I mean, a ton, like a whole box, right? And so I was about ready just to go on this mad freaking mouse, annihilation. Because basically what I've done here by building this little area is I've just built an area where they're totally protected from predators. Like, so their predators out here are like coyotes and birds, right? Well, they can just scurry around underneath these shipping containers and never have a worry about a coyote or a bird, right? So, and I don't know where they get food, but all this shit I've got now, I've literally pulled all kinds of stuff out of the shipping container and just piled it up outside, right? Which, I found little mice houses inside of my spare trailer. I've found them inside of my tool trailer. I've found them inside my tool bags, inside my welder. Little, mouse houses, right? So there's like a pile of shit and a pile of ripped up whatever they can get their hands on, right? And now I've got like all this shit just out where they could get into it. And it's, I wrapped it in a plastic. These mice can just freaking, they can get anywhere. So I got 4, right? And all right around the car. So they're probably, living in the car, or were, I don't know. But the plan for today is it's pouring down rain, which, the last time I was out here, I was wishing it was a little rainy because it was so dusty. But now it's like, God, I got all my stuff I need to do stuff with, and it's raining. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to set up a tent in the rain. That might be I might be screwed on the tent thing today. I might just have to fucking sleep in the car, in the truck rather. I don't know. Figure that out. But my plan today was to do work on the backhoe maintenance, which mainly is blowing out these air filters, which I can't blow out air filters in the rain. So and then really I can't really, I mean, I can do backhoe maintenance in the rain, but it's just, why bother, right? So, and the backhoe is basically to where it needs to be maintenance before it does anything else. And I threw another tooth, so I'm gonna have to put another tooth on there, which is something that's super not fun. Giving up on the freezer. I just I don't think I can make enough power to bother with the freezer. You know, a lot of people keep freezers. Like, I've seen this on like Alaska shows and stuff. And one person out here that I've been out to their property, they keep their freezer outside because the temperature, outside is cold and it gets cold at night, and so the freezer doesn't have to run as much. Now, I don't know. I was thinking about it, but I'm like, man, are the fucking rodents gonna not get in the inside, but are they gonna get into the mechanical area, and make a little house in there, right? That's what I'm concerned about with that whole scenario, right? So I'm like, yeah, I don't want to put the freezer outside and fucking leave it out to the mice to get into, so I keep it inside, right? Well, keeping it inside means that it's just at the whims of this shipping container, which shipping containers aren't, that it's hot when it's hot, it's cold when it's cold. It's actually hotter when it's hot out because of, whatever effect that is. But so I'm going to keep the freezer in there, and I just don't think I have the power to freeze. So freezers work most efficiently when they're full of frozen stuff, right? Full. And I just have like a few bottles of water in there that I'm trying to get frozen. Now, one of my favorite things is smoothies. And I think I've had like one or two smoothies since the fire. Like I would have a smoothie every day for years. So many years. Like 6 or 7 years, every day a smoothie, right? And so frozen fruit is a component of my smoothies. And, I like to eat meat, and I can buy meat in bulk and have it in the freezer and all that kind of stuff, right? But starting out with an empty freezer, trying to get bottles of water frozen to rotate into a cooler, like, that's just going to take a lot of power. Bottom line, it's just like the freezer's going to be running all the time at like full power just to freeze stuff. And it won't maintain ever because I don't have it full. And it's kind of big. I mean, there's a lot of room in there, right? And so I kind of fucked myself on that a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do to actually implement the freezer is start off by buying like its whole entire volume worth of ice and stuff to put into it. So go buy a grip of frozen meat and a grip of frozen fruit and a grip of ice, and then just pack it in there with those jugs of water that I have in there, and then turn it on. And then it'll get all that stuff down to a temperature. Then to maintain that will take so much less power that I could actually pull it off then, which realistically I'm looking at like, whatever power I can get from running the truck, like for, a little bit in the morning and in the evening times, right? So that's when I just run in the truck and whatever power. Or if I'm like doing some welding or doing some kind of, obviously when I'm driving, but some kind of work that I have to plug or I have to turn the truck on to get that much power out of it, right? Well, those kind of situations. But I'm just not trying to have the truck running all day long to freeze some jugs of water to keep a cooler cold, right? I mean, it just won't work, right? Oh, I'm cooking some dinner here. Pretty basic stuff, but easy to cook. And lucky before I bought a propane burner, I remembered I have this deep fried turkey thing. So I didn't have to spend money on that. The guy got back to me on the box. I needed to leave the truck on for a few hours to get it up nice high charge on its first charge because it's been sitting low. And then I put the internet up there. So I actually turned the truck off and then got the text from the guy that said to leave it on for another hour after running it for an hour. So he suggested I leave it on for a couple hours, but I had already had it off for a few hours, so it needs to be run for a couple hours to get it fully charged. And then my humble abode here. Still not sure where I'm going to sleep. I was actually thinking about moving this out of the way and putting a tent in here. But I can't close the door is the problem, because this one's wonky. It's like it's under tension. So, which is good, because I can't lock myself in accidentally, which would be bad. But I also can't keep rodents out. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's raining down. What is this? Wednesday. And that's my house, or no, that's my bedroom, right? So I put a tent up here, and let's just say I gotta be careful about going pee in the middle of the night. So here's how you keep a tent on top of a shipping container. There's some weight. That's some straw bale stuff. And boy, did I fuck up on this deal. I got a damn see-through tent. I got a see-through tent because it was the cheapest one and I didn't notice it was see-through. So I got all this stuff all over it, and has a rain fly, but there's literally just a mesh top. So it's even less than a normal tent as far as like the frickin'. But there's all the bedding. It's like the 2 feet of bedding piled up in there. So that should keep me warm. That was the cheapest tent I could find. I'm not trying to spend a bunch of money. I want a shipping container. Per my #1 subscriber's suggestions, the truck is open. Being here is just very depressing. I literally feel in my chest my cat's loss all the time. And it's a lot worse out here. And it's just miserable to think about everything. The whole world's falling apart. I lost everything. I live in a fucking tent, in a shipping container. Like, not happy. Well, things are going a little bit better than they were the last time I attempted to stay out here. I didn't get very good sleep. Might be able to tell that by the bags under my eyes. There's frogs out here. Lots of frogs in the desert. They be frogging all friggin' night. And there's coyotes. And it's kind of weird though. And then there's the wind. But then it's like the wind will be blowing, making a bunch of noise. And then it'll stop. And then the frogs, they'll all decide to all start talking at the same time. And then the coyotes all talk at the same time. And then some dogs bark and this and that, and the wind and all the little things on the tent are going whoop, 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 whoop in the wind. And it was cold towards the end of the morning. Basically, I had to take a leak in the middle. I don't even know for how long I had to take a leak, but I didn't. I waited until it was fucking light out, so I didn't take any chances of falling off the shipping container in the middle of the fucking night, which is potentially a thing. I don't think I'm gonna roll off, but in my sleep. And honestly, the tent might just hold me up there, to be honest, if I did fall off one side or the other. Or at least it would, slow my fall quite a bit, because there's all the ropes and shit that are holding it up there. Yeah, and I wish I would have realized it was a freaking a mesh tent, not a freaking normal tent. Although I think the mesh tents are better for condensation, which is the big moisture problem with tents, is they'll get just condensation in them super bad, and you're kind of screwed, and it'll condense all in one place, and you'll have. But I don't think I'll have that problem with this kind of tent. And it poured down rain a lot last night. It was pouring rain a lot, and I didn't find any wet spots inside the tent at all. So. Yeah, and there's a problem with the installation of the power box. It's not working right. The way I tell it's not working, the way I tell is this extension cord is run directly to the. Did I already do a video about this? I might have. So it goes directly to there, and that bypasses the other part of the system that doesn't appear to be working correctly. So, and then let's do this. Because I've done some more work. So, I've got a rope that goes all the way over to there. And then I got, this is an $80 tent. And then I had all the crap to tie it up there. But, it's got another rope down to there. Finally got it all pulled into somewhat of a shape. All the weights are hanging off the sides except for that one. I don't know why I haven't hung it off. They're all just hanging over the sides. This thing was freaking soaked last night, but it probably stayed pretty dry underneath the tent. I might as well just flop that out over. That's just. This is gonna rip the damn. Wind's blowing pretty hard, but it's not really. Oh, there it goes. That's about as blown over as it gets. I got a tire down there. There's a rope to the tire to the side there. But if I put the tire I don't think so. I need something up higher to really get that to stop doing that, but it is what it is. It ain't going nowhere. It's just freaking blowing it over. So, got my power running there. So, yeah. Boy, have I been catching the mice. 2 more last night for a total of 6 in this area since, that's 6 in 5 days. Right? So I left all those traps out, left for 4 days, came back, and 4 were caught. And then I reset all the traps, and I got 2 more last night. So, yeah. Got to work on cleaning out the car, installing the bounce dryer sheets, which, note to my subscribers about dryer sheets, do not use dryer sheets at all. I mean, for mouse prevention of getting in your car, that's fine, but don't use dryer sheets. They fucking decrease your IQ. Yeah, it's something else, right? Okay, well, I made it a whole entire over a day. Going into the second night now. I am going to have to go to town to get supplies tomorrow. I fully intended on that. Kind of come out here, buy whatever I could think of needing, but then I'm going to have to go back in and just get us things. And I'd like to be able to get the box into the shop, but they literally didn't even return my call. They're probably sick of hearing from me. The tech support from the box, they didn't return my text either. I'm sure they're all sick of me, but this is the fucking story of my life. Like, shit just is always fucked. And like, what? Well, I just bought this thing and found a place to install it. And then like, now there's problems with the install. And then there's problems with my truck that were unnoticeable. Like, I'm not even sure if I can even tell my truck's running better. Like, maybe a little bit. So anyway, and I'm seriously like, I've got almost 2 weeks probably. It's about 2 weeks before I get paid again. So I got hardly any money to get by. But I'm thinking when I do get the little bit of money is installing a solar system into the truck, basically. Just a couple, like, or yeah, like I have a few different ideas on how to do it, but literally I have to turn the truck on a lot more than I would if I just had a little mini solar system. Just like the system I had in my RV, basically, like one panel and a charge controller, because the truck's already got the battery and the inverter in it. So it's just 2 parts, which I think those 2 parts are like $400 or something, maybe even less now. I don't know. So I might push that ahead of, like the shower and the tank and all this other stuff that I want to build out this room that I'm in right now. But really, power is so crucial. I mean, like, my computer, like when I'm editing it or gaming or pretty much gaming or editing, it sucks a lot of power. And, it literally is like running a power tool. So I have to have the truck on to have the, doing the export or anything, the gaming, and I freaking, I'm a guy that has no friends. I have friends, but I don't have friends like you. I don't, some people might have friends at 48 that they talk to every day. That's probably like a family thing, right? That's probably where people get that, like, that daily interaction is probably with their family at my age. They probably don't have friends they talk to like every day. Like, when you're a kid and growing up, it's like you got your best friends and you just talk to them all the time. But like, as an adult, everybody has their own thing going on, so you don't really like talk to people all the time. And that was really my cats. And then I went to the hospital and I got those 2 little stuffed animals and a plant. And the stuffed animals I buried in Zuzi's grave. And the plant, I just gave it back to the neighbors that brought it to me in the hospital because I'm not able to keep it climate controlled. It needs to be kept warm at night, and that's what I don't have. So, and then at daytime, so the temperature fluctuations, and it grew. And you know what? I gave it back to him today, and I already missed the little plant. I mean, it's like the only living thing that I had.